So this is interesting because traditionally, speaking on the cartels and everything to do with organized crime here, there was lots of meetings called, especially in old times, to organize the plazas and keep the violence to a minimum. Something that hasn't really happened like it used to, and that's directly responsible for a lot of the violence we're experiencing now in Mexico is the disorganization and the fact these groups have to compete with each other. Lines aren't clearly drawn, and wars are constantly started. With that being said, there's been several groups like the United Cartels, Carteles Unidos, that have made a united front in between several groups. You could look at Los Viagras, people that belong to Abuelo Farias, Blancos de Troya. There's so many different little groups, the Nuevo Familia Michoacana, that at the end of the day make up what is the United Cartels. And a lot of them are also auto defense, like the self defense movements, things like that. But point being, they all decided to have a meeting, un cumbre, in Michoacan. And this means, all of these groups that are part of the United Cartels, that are part of fighting Jalisco, they're meeting up to discuss like a united strategy on how they're going to fight Jalisco because Jalisco's been making lots of gains, especially since Miles Zambada decided he was no longer going to help the United Cartels because he's directly helping someone for such a long, sustained time that it has absolutely no benefit to him. The only benefit to him, I think, while he was originally fighting was because he was just keeping Metro busy. But now that he's directly fighting Metro in Zacatecas, Tapartiva, Maceta, and things like that, he no longer needs to keep him busy. He's directly, fighting him, and he probably needs those forces for himself. So Michoacan has had a very long term of violence. Some people would just say it's interminable because since the Zetas, since this group, they've changed hands so many times that it's gotten to the point it's tiring, and I'm sure the people there, a lot of them I know have fled, but a lot of them stay, and I don't know how they do it, to put up with these groups and the violence that happens to them. Their family members get disappeared. There's just so many different things that could go through that the people go experience it from both sides. Don't think the United Cartels are good because they aren't. People from the Viagra and stuff like that, they're known for committing massive abuses on civilians, rapes, lots of horrible things, and that goes on both sides. Like I said, with the people from Jalisco too. So neither side's a good side, and either way, the people lose. When organized crime and the cartels win, usually the people lose. Especially there because they all depend on agriculture, things like the avocado and they get so heavily extorted blinds that sometimes the cartels will buy up a big bunch, let's say, of avocado or limes and have it all in warehouses. And then they'll make all the farmers throw all their harvest out so it rots. And what happens is this drives the price up huge and they don't let anyone else sell it. But they have all that stored away, so when the price shoots up, then they can sell theirs at a really elevated price and be the only ones that are allowed to sell. Things like that, tactics like that, it makes the people suffer. They make money, but in the process, how many people suffer by not being able to sell their harvest that year? Something they depend on just to pay the bills and put food on the table, and now they're not going to be able to do that. So they have more on the table than anyone. The civilian population there, as they always do. They are the ones that suffer more than anyone, and the ones that pay the highest cost, financially, and it just the government really doesn't participate, as far as funding goes for trying to invest to get rid of the problem. They kind of just let it, the groups sort each other out, and whoever wins, wins, which is terrifying. If you think about it, for the people that they're completely left on their own without any government assistance, for a lot of people, especially like in the United States, it sounds out of control, and it is out of control. I don't even know how the people have done it for so long, but I think it's gotten to the point that they know that there's no other way. So maybe this whole meeting will sort out a lot of the violence that's happening between the United Cartels and Jalisco, but it'll just lower it between rival factions of the United Cartels, and they're still abusing the people. So I don't see this really having any big effect on anyone, even though there are communities, of course, where they don't want Jalisco to come into, but that's usually because they themselves are involved in organized crime in the United Cartels, and they don't want a rival group to come in because they know there'll be blowback on them and that the family members will lose jobs and lose that position, lose that money. And that's the main thing for them. So please like, subscribe, notifications. Let me know what you guys think. crazy world we live in. I'm well aware. Adios, amigos.